What's going on, YouTube? Good morning. I got rained out today, so decided to catch up on some flies. All right, today we're going to be tying up the pink flamingo. It's one of my favorite worm patterns. It's a pink worm, and yeah, it's a good pattern, especially in the spring, especially after the rain with some increased flow, or if you have some cloudy water. This is another good one. But for some reason, pink worms do really good on trout. So I'm going to show you how I tie my favorite variation. We may tie some different variations today as well too. But first thing you want to do, I've got a size 12 60-degree jig streamer hook. We're going to pop it in the vise. Actually, before we put it on the vise, let's put a bead on it. I like tungsten beads on mine. Ooh. Okay. So a metallic light pink from Hairline, 3.8 millimeter. Now we'll lock it in. If you're new to fly tying, to orient this slotted bead, this is a slotted tungsten bead because of this angle here at the end of the jig hook. You need a slotted bead to where it'll sit and seat up against the, right there. But if you don't have that oriented correctly, it's not going to properly seat up. And I'm not sure if you're able to kind of see that gap there versus if I rotate and then that gap disappears whenever I do it like that. So you just want to make sure that there's a rounded side and a flat side. You want your flat side facing the bottom part of the shank right here and the rounded part facing up. After you do that, I just, you can use different thread on this. White thread works good. The pink thread works good as well too. This is fluorescent pink, so when we build up the hot spot at the end, you tend to have a nice fluorescent spot right behind on the collar, which I like to do. All right, let's add a little lead wire to this. Kind of hold that bead up. So I've got some 0.015, and I'm just going to wrap 7-8 times. And push that right up into there. And then I rotate the vise upside down, push my fingernail to the bead, and then helicopter the rest off. That'll give you a nice flush look there. All right, then now you grab your thread, put it on the bobbin. Let's create a small thread dam behind that lead to just hold that in place. It's good there. Let's bring it back all the way. About right there or so. Untwist your thread, let it lay as flat as possible. Now get your favorite worm material. This is a special material that my niece picked out, and she actually named this fly. So this is going to be the tail material here. Let's get this tied in. Just put one loop around it, get it kind of where you want it to be at. some loose wraps to start with. There you go. All right, once I got it tied on a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull and stretch that flat. And I'm going to just continue to wrap this up. And each time I go, I'm going to try to snug just a little bit tighter with my thread wrap, all while pulling kind of towards me with this free end to keep it from spinning. There we go. And once I get up to here, I can start kind of using that free hand, kind of wrap it up just like that. Get up to about right there. A couple turns up top. And let's snip this excess right here. So put a little tension. You see it goes from fat, then thins out. I'm gonna put some tension on that, snap it, and then it'll suck in. All right, from there, you can kind of finagle it a little bit, get it centered up. But let's do some tighter wraps and go on back, smashing down that material a little bit. There we go. All right, this is where I like to add a different tone to the body material. So we got our tail, and then now I get a different color pink. This is even a different material. It's got a little bit more flexibility, where the tail's a little bit stiff and kind of has kind of a pre-form curve and bend in it. I don't know if you're able to, yeah, you can see that a little bit. I like that just because it gives it a little bit more natural look to it. All right, so we're gonna tie on this material to the back right here. All right, let's wrap up. I'm gonna kind of build up. And this is where you can kind of use your thread to even out your body depth a little bit. As even as possible. Kind of inevitably, you're gonna have a little bit of a bump though, kind of at the butt. That's okay. Trout are not too concerned about your exact, I guess, ratio. All right, now we're going to, let's send several wraps here to the neck now. A little bit of lead wire that's poked out right there. Let's just get that, pull it out good. All right, now let's counter wrap this. You'll notice the tighter that you pull this material, the thinner that it will be. So you don't want to put too much tension on it, so you can get kind of a nice segmented look there. These wraps up here to lock in need to be very light. Otherwise, you'll just break that completely off with your thread. And I'll do 3 lock-ins with this material just because it's a little touchy. There we go. So once you get that locked in and you're happy with it, a little bit of tension, pops it free. And then now you're ready for your whip finish. 4 or 5, and then go right back on top, build up that hot spot that I was talking about on the collar right there. All right, so I use a UV clear fly finish a lot, but with this material, you do not want to use that. Do not use resin on squirmy wormy material. Instead, you're going to use the water-based head cement. That's a lot, it's easier, it doesn't dissolve that material like the resin will. It's been a while since I've used this, so you just got to give it a nice little shake to get all that crud out. Okay. Still some crud in that. It's really, really clumpy right now. Might be too old, honestly. Just kind of paint that onto that collar. And it's going to go on white, but it's going to dry clear. So don't worry about that. And you can get your bodkin and kind of spread that around a little bit. Make sure it gets all around the collar like so. And then just let it air dry. That's it. That's the Pink Flamingo. Nice quick tie, easy. See the action with the tail. Phenomenal pattern. I love it. I've caught my personal best brown trout on this pattern. 24-inch brown. Awesome. Actually couldn't believe it. Wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it and catch him myself that he ate a pink worm. Go figure. So yeah, let's get this out of the way. We'll hang this up on the side. Cool. Now we're ready for another one. So let's tie up another one here real quick. We'll keep the same bead on this, light pink metallic. Appreciate you tuning in. If you don't mind smashing that like and subscribe, that really helps me out, helps my channel. If you're already a subscriber, just share a link to somebody, one of your friends, and have them join along with us. All right, bead on first. And orient the flat side towards the bottom of the hook of that slotted bead. Okay, get your lead wire, 7/8 rabs. Push that right up in there. Bust that out just like that. That's nice and snug now. Go ahead and get your pink thread on the bobbin. Start it on the hook. Lock that up in there. All right, let's bring it all the way down. Unravel that thread, lay it flat. Let's see if we could still use this material here. Still looks good to me. Yeah. Measure out your tail, however long you want them. You can always cut off later, so I tend to make mine a little bit longer. If the fish, if they're wanting something a little bit larger of a profile, that it's more beneficial that way. Sometimes they like a little bit smaller, so. I'm not liking how that tail's laying down like that, so let's undo that. Probably went a little too aggressive with that first wrap, I think. Tries to pull it up in the air. There. Let's go ahead and bring it on up. These are just light wraps. Don't want to break that material off like that. Up to the head like so. This is where I'll tighten it up just a little bit each turn. Okay, couple in front. One more capture. And let's snip it out. That's trash, rest of that's trash. Now when I come back on it, I'm just making sure the tail stays upright, and then we can flatten down that material real good and really get it attached. I'm using pressure from this finger to kind of pull it towards me, because the wraps are naturally going to push it away from me. So by doing so, it keeps that tail nice and lined up for you. Good. That looks awesome. Okay, we're going to add our body material here now too. So let's just barely capture that in. Give some tension back as you pull. And then as you get closer to that tail, let's lighten up the tension just a little and lighten up your thread. Now we can bring it forward. As you bring it forward, use your thread to even out any sort of body depth issues that you have. If you're a little bit thicker down here, you can add some thread. That will, as you wrap your body now, should even out at least a little bit. It's not gonna be perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect, just so you guys know. The trout don't care if they're hungry. All right, now counter wrapping the body. It's already starting out good. I like how this body's laying really well. Oh yeah, like a grub. I like that. I like it when they start looking like grubs. There we go. This is a good one. They're all good, but sometimes you have your favorites when you tie a good one. A few locking wraps, and we're gonna knock that out. It's a little too short, just so you know. It's a little too short for body, so I'll toss that. Okay. Now let's add in our whip finish here. Okay, that's simple right there. Cut out your thread, and you've got a pink flamingo. Perfect. Okay. And last but not least, our head cement. Clumping on me. What's up, YouTube? Appreciate you guys stopping by, man. If you guys smash that like and subscribe for me, I'd really appreciate that. Drop there, drop underneath. Take your bodkin, just kind of spread out that head cement. It's white now, it will dry clear, don't worry. Perfect, that looks good. Pink flamingo right there. It's gonna be smashing trout, especially if you got some cloudy water conditions. That's just a trout magnet right there. Trout candy. Let's do another one. Now that we're rolling, let's just change up the color bead now. Go a little bit. It's still a metallic pink, but it's more of a. It's not as light. I guess it's just regular metallic pink. Let's see if I can get it out of the bag without throwing them all on the ground. All right. Find the hole of the bead. Pop it in there. Get it in the vise. You want the flat part of your slotted bead on the bottom, okay? And then you want the rounded part facing up. This is going to make sure that that bead sits all the way to the front of that eyelet right there. Not sure if you can see that. Okay. Let's get some wire, wrap it up. Push that wire into that bead. This bead has a much more narrow gap. This is a Hannock bead here, and as you can tell, my wire is not wanting to really slide up into there. Good thing about lead is that it's very soft, and so you can kind of manipulate it a little bit more. But yeah, just do it the best you can. I didn't get quite up in there all the way, but it's holding it. Our thread will do the remainder. Start it on up there and dam up that thread right behind that lead wire. That just keeps it smashed up in there. It got rained out this morning. I had a trip this morning. I was going to be going out slaying fish, but we had torrential downpours last night, and rivers have already been kind of max capacity around here lately. We've had a lot of rain, and we just couldn't get it done. The flow was over 400 cubic feet, and no thank you. I don't need anybody drowning on me. All right, grab some more material. This is the propriety blend here we got going on. See how this material already has the wiggles in it? It's kind of preformed and shaped like that. I don't know. I like to think that that's the key. But you know, everybody has their different materials that they like to use, and thread and bead, no bead. I want you to tie what you like, what works for you, what's comfortable for you to fish with, and I'm going to show you what I do. If you don't like it, that's okay too. Do what you want. There we go. Look at that. Look how that thing's getting all wonky on me. I've never had one actually try to do that. So reset. There. There we go. Now we're working. See, I've got that tension. I'm pulling that way. That's key when you're doing this, wrapping up. Light wraps, just to hold in place, I want to keep that material kind of on this side towards you of that hook shank. There we go. That's enough, I think. All right, now as we work our way back here with the thread, now we can add some more tension. Use your finger to kind of push towards you a little bit so it doesn't want to spin that. There. All right, get your other material. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Get some more of our two-tone. That's how I like to tie my squirmies, have a little two-tone. Take that material, let's tie it right into the back here. And then I'm going to bring my thread up, and I notice I've got a little bit of a bubble right there on the butt, so just going to build up that center a little bit with some thread. All while trying to maybe pull some wraps back onto the bubble and smashing it down as the rest kind of builds up. Be careful not to snap your thread on the hook. All right, once you're satisfied, that looks good to me. I'm going to begin counter wrapping this. Some light tension. Keeping that body looking like a grub. Man, yeah, that's fantastic. Gets any better, I don't need to know about it. I like to do 3 light locking wraps on this particular material. At this point, if you were to pull too tight or want to put too much tension on it, or really want to lock it down with a tight thread wrap, that thread may cut straight through this and then it'll just all unravel on you. And once you get to this point, you definitely don't want it to do that. There we go. Probably see, I'm not sure, you can't see it, but a little bit of a gap back there, it's okay. Good enough to catch a fish. Whip finish it. 4 wraps, and then do 3 or 4 more. Nice. Last step, little head cement. Yeah, one drop there. There. Good enough. That bodkin, spread it around. That's gonna soak way down in there, get to the thread, even to your lead wire as well too. That's a little extra right there. So good thing about this water-based cement, if you got like a napkin, piece of paper works good too though, to kind of soak that up. And of course, a couple pinches with your finger pulls off some excess too. There. That's it right there. Pink Flamingo. That simple, that easy, absolute destroyer. You got to have them in your box if you're a fly fishing guide for sure. Some guys don't fish with them. I can understand that. I can get behind somebody that's really just trying to catch a trout, you know, the old-fashioned way with an actual, you know, fly material like feathers or something like that. But you know, I'm in the business of catching fish. So when I find a pattern that catches them, I don't care what it's made out of. That's just me though, and everybody's different with that. So I appreciate you guys though out there. Thanks for tuning in with me. Hook and Lips Fly Tie Friday, I believe, is going to start going live on Friday. Look for a community poll to be sent out this week. I'm going to try to get your guys' feedback on this. What my plan is to try to go live with some fly tie videos on Friday and then upload that same video on a Saturday, because I know some guys like to get out fishing Saturday morning. They may not be able to catch me live on Saturday. Like I said, I was supposed to have a trip this morning and it just fell through due to weather. So if I can get my fly tie live videos up there, I'm going to try to go Friday live at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Again, I'm going to poll you guys to see if that time works out okay. It's just going to be a kind of a testing, touch and go thing throughout this early season as I get used to this live on YouTube. But I kind of like it. I especially like it when I get some viewers and we get some interaction with some questions, things like that. I definitely would love to hear some of your guys' questions. If you guys are having any issues with fly tying, I'd be happy to help you. If you're having any issues out on the water, I'd be happy to help you too. So thanks again. Appreciate it. Smash that like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.